How good will quarterback Emory Jones be for the Florida Gators in 2021? Let's talk about it.
Growing up as a kid, all a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from everybody. Life lesson learned, I better learn from this bitch, nobody. She pushed me around, she didn't give no motherfucks about it. She broke my heart 3 times, but I ain't getting...
What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. I'm back to you guys with another video. This video, I'm going to be talking about how good will quarterback Emory Jones be in his first year as a starting quarterback for the Florida Gators in 2021. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Emory Jones is a 6'2", 210-pound quarterback for the University of Florida. He was a 4-star quarterback coming out of that 2018 class. He was the 5th best dual threat quarterback from that 2018 recruiting class. He also was the 85th best player nationally that year. Now, the 2018 recruiting class was absolutely stacked, okay? Like, here are some of the notable names that you guys should recognize: Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Michael Parsons, Patrick Surtain, Terrence Marshall, Jalen Waddle, just to name a couple of the big names from that class, because, you know, a lot of those guys from that 2018 recruiting class ended up going in the first round of this past year's NFL draft. Now, Emory Jones has been at the University of Florida for a pretty long time, and I have a lot of respect for Emory Jones because not only is he one of my favorite players, but also the fact that he decided to wait his turn, and instead of transferring, he decided to, you know, be patient, trust the process, and now he's going to end up being the starting quarterback most likely for Florida when the 2021 college football season kicks off. Now, a lot of Gator fans are going to be upset with the statement that I'm about to make, and this may be a bold prediction, but I think Emory Jones is going to be better than Kyle Trask. Now, Kyle Trask was not a bad quarterback. As a matter of fact, he was a Heisman finalist last year. But the reason why I think Emory Jones is going to be better than Kyle Trask is because, one, he is a way better athlete, and with him being a better athlete, he's going to open up the playbook for Dan Mullen. Now, Dan Mullen kind of had to tailor the offense to Kyle Trask because Kyle Trask isn't really your typical Dan Mullen kind of quarterback. Normally, Dan Mullen wants a quarterback that's a dual threat. He wants a quarterback that can not only throw the ball, but it also is really effective in the run game. Well, Kyle Trask, he was just a typical, prototypical drop back pocket passer. Couldn't really get a lot of him when it came to the run game. Well, you look at Emory Jones. Emory Jones is a really good runner. Now, he's not like a Lamar Jackson. He's more like a Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields kind of runner. And he kind of reminds me a lot of RG3 in a sense. You know, they kind of got the same body type. They kind of have like similar running styles. But also, one thing that I like about Emory Jones a lot is not only how good he is when it comes to running the football, but he also has a really good arm. I mean, he has a really nice deep ball. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, I forgot what Georgia game it was. I don't know if it was this past year's Georgia game or if it was the previous year's Georgia game, but he came in and he threw like a nice little deep ball. It ended up being an incompletion, but Emory Jones has a really nice arm. I think he has a better arm than Kyle Trask. Now, Emory Jones in that quarterback is going to open up the playbook and the play calling for Dan Mullen. He's going to be able to run more RPOs, more read options, more design quarterback runs, and with Kyle Trask, you couldn't really do that because Kyle Trask wasn't all that much of a threat in the run game. Also, if Emory Jones at quarterback, is going to improve the rushing game as a whole for the whole entire Florida offense, because last year Florida was pretty much a pass-heavy offense. They couldn't really run the ball that much. They didn't really have a lot of success on the ground. Well, now that you have Emory Jones at quarterback, defenses are going to have to account for his running ability. You also can be able to open up the defense with, like I mentioned earlier, more read options, more RPOs. So I think that Emory Jones is going to be in for a very big season. I think Florida fans are really going to be happy with the performance that they're going to get out of Emory Jones this year. I think Emory Jones is probably going to throw for, like, if I had to predict his stat line, I think he'll probably throw for like 2,500 yards, 25 passing touchdowns. He'll probably have like 900 to 1,000 rushing yards on the ground. He'll probably have like 10 or 11 rushing touchdowns. I'm expecting big things out of Emory Jones this year because I've been watching Emory Jones ever since I was a freshman in high school, because I was watching his freshman highlights when he was a freshman quarterback in high school all the way up till he was a senior. So when he committed to the University of Florida, I was really excited. Okay, now I was really upset about how long it has finally taken Emory Jones to finally get on the field, because I thought when Felipe Franks first went down, because he started out behind Felipe Franks, when Felipe Franks went down with his injury a couple of years ago, I was calling my homeboy, who happens to be a Florida fan. I was like, okay, man, here it is. It's Emory Jones time. Emory Jones is about to be unleashed. And you guys don't know how disappointed I was just to see Kyle Trask trot out on the field. And I was like, bro, who is this guy? So I called my homeboy again, and I said, hey, man, who is this dude? Like, this ain't Emory Jones. Like, who the heck is Kyle Trask? He was like, oh, Kyle Trask, pretty solid, man. He was the backup behind Derrick King in high school. I was like, man, I don't want to see no doggone Kyle Trask, man. Put Emory Jones in. So Kyle Trask ends up being really good for Florida. Heisman finalist, like I mentioned earlier, got drafted in the second round of this past year's NFL draft by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kyle Trask was really good. But even though Kyle Trask is really good, I still wanted to see Emory Jones, because, you know, everybody likes to see the more flashy quarterback. And now we really get to see what Emory Jones is going to do. Now, Emory Jones has been in the Florida program for a pretty long time. I think it's like either 3 or 4 years. I don't really know for sure. I want to say it was 4. But he's been in the program for a while, so I think that he has a pretty good grasp on the offense. And reading a couple of articles from the Florida spring practices, because I was hoping for a spring game, but Florida didn't have a spring game this year, so didn't really get to see that much of Emory Jones. But from the reports I've read, Emory Jones is the clear-cut quarterback one heading into fall camp unless something drastic happens. So I'm really excited for Emory Jones. I think he has a really good skill set. He reminds me a lot of RG3. And if he does good this year, he could end up declaring for the NFL draft. So I'm really excited for Emory Jones. I think Emory Jones is going to ball out for Florida this year. I think Florida has potential to become better than what they were with Kyle Trask when you look at the element that Emory Jones brings. And I think that Emory Jones could end up being the second best quarterback at the end of the college football season behind JT Daniels. So you guys let me know how good you guys think Emory Jones would be for the Florida Gators in 2021. Make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel for more college football videos and NFL content. And thanks for watching.